Also, remember, check out Commanding General Yohanna's radio show, which is Monday, 2 a.m. UK time. But also remember to check out all those things there, the radio show and so forth. And today we're going to go into the LGBT community is trying to take over the world, man. Like they're trying to take over the world. You can't even buy. I got skills, man, without them talking about Pride Month and this and that. Even something as simple as a bag of Skittles, man, you can't even buy. Nothing you can really do now. Yeah, Salaki, give me a one. Tazarpon, give me a one if you can hear me. Can you hear me? I'm not sure how the sound sounded. Someone just give me a one. Someone said no sound. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right, we're just gonna get the microphone. Can you hear me now? Give me a one if you can hear me. Give me a one if you can hear me. Or is it still low? Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Hold on 1 second. Let me check my phone. Oh yeah, they can hear me. All right, Most High in Christ. All right then. So what we were saying is the LGBT community is trying to take over the world, man. Like they get to do whatever they want, say whatever they want, behave however they want, and there's nothing you can do about it, man. There's nothing we can do about it. They're near enough taking over this whole earth. So we're gonna start off. Let me see where we're gonna start. And also, man, we need to teach our children. You know why? Because there was a man from Birmingham, which is the city that we're in. He was a head teacher of a school called Andrew Moffat, and he led a gay parade march, man. He led the march. Like he led the march, and that's what they're teaching children in school. So when your children come home from school at like 4 o'clock and you be like, oh, I'm too tired. I'm too tired to spend time with these kids today. Just understand this at school. They've been learning everything that they shouldn't be learning, man. They've been learning about homosexuality for 6, 7 hours. Meanwhile, while you say, yo, I'm too tired to teach them anything when they come home, just understand that's what they've been learning in school. Whereas when we send our children to school, we send them to school for them to learn maths, English, and science, man. That's all they're really supposed to learn there. Maths, English, science. That's it, man. All the extra stuff they don't need to learn. Like they don't need to learn RE. They don't need to learn sexual education. They don't need to learn them things, man. These are things that we can teach at home. Because in schools, they're teaching children as young as 5 that, well, even nursery kids, that if a boy puts on a dress, they can't tell him to take it off because he's finding himself. Whereas children don't even know what they want to eat, man. Children can't even decide on what they want to eat. You ask a child what do you want for dinner, they're going to tell you they want sweets, man. So how are we making children make adult decisions? And this is the thing, man. Our oppressor lies to us and tells us, oh, your children know what they want. When children don't know what they want, man, this is why you're supposed to be there. You're supposed to be the parent. Children ain't supposed to do whatever they want to do, man. But we're going to start from the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6, before we go into some articles. So we're going to start in Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6.
Proverbs 22 and 6. Train up a child in the way he should go.
And there you go, man. It says, train up a child in the way he should go. Why? Because Andrew Moffat, who's led a gay parade march in Birmingham with 5,000 people there. 5,000 people turned up, man. He led a march, and that's what he wants to teach children in schools. So we need to train our children in the way which they should go. Like we need to teach them that the world accepts these things, but we don't accept these things. We don't do these things. The rest of the world does these things, but we don't do these things. Why? Because if you don't, your child is gonna be like they are, man. Your child is gonna be doing things which they shouldn't, man. Your child is going to be sleeping with the same sex when they shouldn't, man. So we need to train them up in the way they should go. Why? Because our oppressor, he's training them to do the opposite. He's training them to go an opposite way, man. He's training them to go a way which God didn't intend for them to go, man. And with all that training and brainwashing, they're gonna believe it's normal. Why? Because now society is more accepting of it. Down to now, you can't even get a bag of Skittles, man. You can't even get a bag of Skittles without it saying, "Oh, only one rainbow counts, the Pride rainbow." Everything you try to buy now, they're putting their little stamps on there, putting their little stamp on there, and so forth. So much that now certain things you'd rather not buy, man. Now they've changed the bag of Skittles. The whole pack's white, but it's got the Pride marking on there. What I read on.
And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So you train him up. So when he's old, he won't depart from it. Meaning, when he's old, he's going to be stuck on what you taught him. Meaning, in his mind, everything is going to be, my dad told me that was wrong. My dad told me that was wrong. My dad told me that was wrong. So much that once your child's older, he won't depart from it, man. Same like with us. We never ate pork growing up. Like, pork was just a no-no. We didn't know why we don't eat pork. We just know, you know what? Our dads always said you can't eat pork. And then one day they tried to give us pork in school, and we was like, no, we can't eat that. We can't eat that. Why? Because when we're older, we won't depart from it, man. Meaning we know what we're supposed to follow. We've learned what we can and can't do. So it's very important that we teach our children the difference between men and the difference between women, the difference between male and female. That's what we need to teach them, because if we don't, they're going to believe they can just change their sex whenever they want. They're going to believe, let me just go to the doctors and get these hormone tablets, and it will take the bass out of my voice, and it will stop me growing a beard, and I'll start to go breast because I got all this estrogen. Listen, man, they're going to start doing all of those things. Like now, once upon a time, those things was looked at as crazy and it would never happen. Whereas right now, those things just seem like it's normal now. There's so much people doing it that it seems like it's normal when it shouldn't be normal, man. Nowhere on God's green earth should that be normal. But you can drop that one and give me Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 15. Also, any questions, just type them in and we'll get to them.
Proverbs 29 and 15. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame.
So if you leave a child to itself, that child will bring its mother to shame, man. It says the rod give correction and reproof, man. Meaning you have to discipline your children and you have to teach them right from wrong. And when you see them going aside, you tell them, no, man, that's the wrong way to go. That's the wrong way to go. Why? Because if you leave them to it, they're going to bring you to shame and bring you to heaviness, man. Meaning as they grow up, they're past that stage where you can correct them now. At least correct them when they're young. So when they're older, they can decide, okay, then either I'm going to follow what my parents have laid down or I'm going to do the opposite. Whereas when they're older, you start to be upset and distraught because they're going the opposite way. Meanwhile, if you didn't teach them, I mean, what do you expect? So it starts at home, man. Because what they're teaching in schools is madness. They're teaching all this pride stuff in schools. Soon in Pride Month, they're gonna. You see how you have non-school uniform day where they say send your children in green for St. Patrick's Day. Soon they're gonna say to you, send your children in multicolored stuff, man. Soon they're gonna say send your children in rainbow outfits for the day. When it gets to that stage, you just keep your child off school, man, or tell them, look, we ain't partakers in these things, because this world wants to bully you to be partakers into what they do. As soon as you disagree with them, oh, you're homophobic. You're homophobic. And then a phobia means you're scared of something. And they're trying to bully you into joining them and then being like them, to so much that you can't even say, no, I disagree with it. In the workplace, you can't even say you disagree with it. Why? They say, oh, you're being homophobic, and they almost want to put you out of a job, man. Whereas us, every day we die, and no one cares. We ain't been protected like they've been protected, man. We ain't been protected like Jews have been protected. No one protects us, but when it comes to everybody else, there's a term. There's a term like obviously you can't say certain things about them. You can't speak to them a certain way because they're oppressed by everybody. Like we ain't. They say that like we ain't oppressed by everybody. But was there any more in that or?
That will
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. So we're gonna go to Genesis 3 and 1, man. We're gonna show you how Esau's so subtle with it. Subtle with it, man.
Genesis 3 and 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
And listen, this man was subtle, man. Now he knows the Lord had a direct order, and this man wants them to go against it. Same like the Lord gave us direct orders now, and this man wants us to go against it. Now, how does he try and make you to go against it now? He says what? Love is love. Meaning you can love who you want to love. Don't let someone tell you that you're restricted to only love one gender. Don't let no one tell you that because you're a man you have to only love a woman. You can't. Of course you can. Of course two men can be in love. That's what this sort of beast tells you, man. He tells you it, and he gives you a narrative, and it makes people believe, well, love is love. I mean, you love what you love, and you can't help yourself. He puts it in your mind that you can't help yourself. So tons of people end up believing it and falling for it. And then now, this is why you see tons of what? Blacks and Hispanics in the pride marches, man. See tons of blacks and Hispanics in the gay village, man. Why? Because they've believed this beast, man, who's the most sort of beast of the field, who tells you lies, who tells you what you want to hear, who tells you to go against the Most High. And people believe him. Whereas you're not meant to believe that, man. You come here and get correction, man, and repent, man. Two people of the same sex ain't allowed to be together, man. They ain't allowed to be together. And then now, this is a subject where you have to watch your wording. Why? Because then they'll just shut you down, man. They'll be like, oh well, that's hate speech and it's this and it's that. So now you have to use the politically correct term. What's the politically correct term that they like to be called now? Gay. Is that the one they like? That's the safe option. So gay is the safe option. Whereas before, there was a ton of words that they was called. Then over times they said this one's offensive. And the thing is this, if it's offensive, stop being the thing then. But obviously you can't use them terms. Why? Because then obviously you give them a leg to stand on to shut down your channel. So you have to pick your words carefully and whatnot. So I'm gonna read on in Genesis 3. It says, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God have said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Meaning what? God said to the man shouldn't be with the next man. And this serpent comes and says, what? No, this. Now you say, you know what? A man shouldn't be with a man, lest you die. Two men together, you're going to die for that. And this oppressor comes and says, surely you won't die. You're allowed to love who you want to love. You're allowed to be with who you want to be with. You're allowed to be with whoever makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy, that's who you're allowed to be with. And then people believe and be like, it's true. What makes me happy? That's what I'm going to do. Not realizing you're going to die for it in the end, man. Listen, the I.S.U.P.K is here so you don't die, so you don't make them mistakes, man. Let's read on. And he said, ye shall not surely die. And this is what two men who lie together think, man. They think they're surely not going to die. This is what two women who lie together think. They think they're not going to die. This is what people who smoke weed and drugs and so forth, they think they're not going to die. Why? because society teaches them, oh, don't worry, man. Love who you want to love. Love who you want to love. We got the cure for everything, man. Love is the answer. And then you go around believing that love is the answer, not realizing that two people of the same sex ain't supposed to have sexual relations, man. But this man tells you do it because surely you will not die. That's what he tells you, man. And then people believe it and so forth. But we're gonna read on. Says, for God doeth know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Obviously, that's going into another topic of the breakdown. But we're gonna from there we're gonna jump to and yeah, man. You know what? If I could, I need to go on the StreamYard, man, and show you pictures of how of Little Nas X and late. I don't even want to show it, but what's it? Let me go on there. Let me see if we can do it. Hold on. So this is the people who they try and get you to follow, man. This is the, one second. I'm gonna just. So now this is who. This is how this man's so subtle that it puts. I'm trying to get the one second. I'm trying to find the. All these pictures are disgusting, but I'm trying to find one that's the least disgusting, and there's not one. They're all disgusting. Let me see. Let me go back in the StreamYard. Let me see. Is when you look on my stream? Oh, it's on there. Yeah. All right then. So this is what they want you to be like, man. This is how they want you to dress, like this. They want you to dress like Little Nas X, or they make him make songs. They give him a deal. Why? Because they know that children listen to this kind of music. Honestly, I've never listened to one Little Nas X song. Like I think his first song, what was it? The Old Town Road, and then that song he didn't come out as gay. And then after that, he came out as gay once people realized, yeah, he's a good musician. And that's what Esau does, man. He gives you black people to say, wow, if you're feeling a certain type of way, look at Little Nas X, man. He came out the closet. Um, he came out the closet so you can come out the closet. And then you look at Little Nas X, like, this man's inspirational. Like, you do know on the BT Awards, he kissed the man the other day, man. The other day, he kissed the man on the BET Awards at the end of his performance, and it was like, damn, what did you have to do that for? And now what they do is give you people like Little Nas X. Let me pull up a next picture. There's one of Usher in a dress. Let me see if it comes up. There's one of Usher in a dress. Let me see if it comes up. See, they hid it now while it was on there. Because I seen the picture myself. Nah, it's not on Google, but there's 100% a picture of Usher Raymond in a dress. So like someone must have seen that picture. No, it's not on there. All right, let's type in another. Let's type in another picture. This is the celebrities that they give you. Little Pump. Look at this, man. This is Little Pump with his nails done. So this is the celebrities that they give to you, man. They give you these people. Look at Little Pump. His nails done. He even said you have to get your toes done to match. Like they're pushing that agenda to the children, man. So what's gonna happen? They know that your children is influenced by these rappers, is influenced by these artists. And this is why what we do in here, they don't want to make us mainstream. Why? Because they know we'll influence your kids to do the right things, man. They know we'll teach your kids to do the right thing, but they don't want that. They want your children to get their nails done, your sons to get their nails done like Little Pump. This man's got a whole manicure, man. He's got a whole manicure, and he thinks that's cool to do. He thinks that's cool to do, man. When it's a disgusting thing, which goes against the Most High, man. It's disgusting, and it goes against the Lord. Us doing all of those things. So now, your son that listens to Little Pump's the one that had that song about Gucci Gang. Little Pump had the song Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang. So now, your son will hear that, will like that song, and will check out Little Pump and be like, wow. Oh, the Usher one. Yeah. How do I get it on the StreamYard? Mm, this one. So yeah. We're gonna see if we can get the picture up of Usher in a dress. This is the agenda that they're pushing, man. This is how they want your kids to be. So soon you're gonna see what? Grown men in skirts, young boys in skirts, because they've already made it known in school that if a child wears a dress, if a boy child puts on a dress, they can't legally tell them to take it off because the child's finding themselves. It's on his Twitter. Let's see if let me see if I can get you that picture of Usher. Usher. Usher, Twitter. If I can't find it, I'll see. If I can't find it, I'll just. Let me see if I can scroll down to it. Because there's a picture of Usher in a dress, man. What month in May? Go back a little bit. Yeah, we're almost there. I'm searching for this picture to show you because people probably think, we're making it up. Because Usher rape. Oh, shit, I pressed the wrong button. So what here? What did I press? Hold on. Let me go down. Because this is obviously we understand tons of people are Usher fans. Let It Burn and Confessions and oh no, it's not showing up on here. Is it this one? No, this is Muslim April. Now, if anything, I'll see if I can get it later on before we. What's it called? You can take me at the StreamYard now. So yeah, they want you to follow Little Pump and all these artists, man. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back into the precepts. So now we're gonna get Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. So now we're gonna go into Deuteronomy 22 and 5. Because why? That is cross-dressing, man. Usher in a dress is cross-dressing. Little Pump with his nails painted is cross-dressing, man. That's what it is. And cross-dressing is in the Bible of something that you shouldn't do, man. It's written in the Bible of something that you shouldn't do. This has nothing to do with women wearing jeans, man. Deuteronomy 22 and 5 has nothing to do with sisters wearing jeans, man. And we're going to read it and show you. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 22 and 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
And a woman shouldn't wear that which pertains unto a man. Now, people read that and say, oh, see, a woman shouldn't wear jeans. The thing is this. If a woman shouldn't wear jeans, that would mean that apple bottom jeans are for men. That would mean men can wear apple bottom jeans if all jeans was men's jeans. There's jeans for men and there's jeans for women. So this ain't talking about jeans, man. There's jeans for men and there's jeans for women. Women can wear women's jeans. Obviously, you don't want them too tight. If women are going to wear jeans and whatnot, you don't want them too tight to where everyone can see your shape and see everything. So always wear a long t-shirt or something that covers you behind or whatnot. But it says a woman shouldn't wear that which pertaineth to a man, meaning a woman shouldn't be looking like young MA, man, looking like a man, looking masculine. I seen a video, little MA rapping about guns and shooting people, man. behaving like a man, which is horrible to see, man. Be ladylike, man. Men love a woman that's ladylike. Like sisters ain't gotta be behaving all rough and behaving like men. You're the weaker vessel, and you're supposed to be feminine, man. A sister being feminine is beautiful, man. And a man being feminine is disgusting. A man's meant to be masculine. A man ain't meant to be feminine. So we're gonna read that one more time from the top.
Deuteronomy 22 and 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
And a woman shouldn't wear that which pertains unto a man, like we just read said. Go ahead.
In the middle of verse 5. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
Neither what?
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. And what Usher did is put on a woman's garment. What Little Nas X did is put on a woman's garment. What's his name is Little Pump did is put on a woman's garment. Little Pump painting his nails, he ain't supposed to do that, man. Says neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. Why? Because the Lord wants a man to be a man and a woman to be a woman. All of this, I feel like I was born in the wrong body. You wasn't, man. Whatever the Lord created you as, that's what you are, man. There's no such thing. I was born in the wrong body. You are what the Lord wanted you to be, man. If you're a male, it's because the Lord wanted you to be a male. If you're a female, it's because the Lord wanted you to be a female. Life could be so simple if we got out our feelings and start to think, oh, maybe the Lord created me wrong. Maybe I should have been a woman. Maybe I should have been this. And when you go to the oppressor, he will tell you, you know what? Really, God wants you to be a woman. And you've got the right to choose. It's your body. You've got the right to choose whether you want to be a male or female. When that's a lie, man, the Lord made a man and said, this man must wear clothing which is made for men. The Lord created a woman and said, this woman must wear clothing which is created for women. Life could be simple, but we like to complicate it, man, and make it like there's all these different genders. Read on. Is there anyone that?
Yeah. For all that do so are abomination.
For all that do so are an abomination. An abomination is a disgusting act. All that do so are an abomination. So we ain't supposed to do those things, man. But your oppressor will have you believe gay pride. Yeah, man. You're showing the world, man. We're all coming together. We've made it. We've made it. We've made it. That's what they believe, man. They believe, yeah, we've made it. And the whole world accepts us. And everybody loves us for who we are now. And we can be who we are. And we can come out in the open. And the rainbow belongs to us. And all of those things. They believe all of those things. Meanwhile, God said a man that dresses up as a woman is an abomination. A woman that dresses up as a man is an abomination. But when you're living in our oppressor's kingdom, he makes you believe these things are right. He makes you believe there's no punishment for what you're doing. He makes you believe like God understands that you're in love with the same sex. He makes you believe like God understands it. And surely God is all love. So God understands that you love all sexes. That's what it makes you believe, man. He brainwashes you and tells you lies about God when God's never said that in the Bible, man. What God did say in the Bible is it's an abomination. Is there anyone that? Oh.
All that do so are abomination unto the
Or
Lord.
there you go. All that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. The only person you're not an abomination to is our oppressor, because he loves it, man. To him, he sees a man and woman, oh, that's wrong. He would rather every black man be with a black man. Why? Because he don't want us to procreate, man. He don't want us to have children and rule this earth and multiply. So he would rather you do what? Do something where you can't have children, man. He would rather us die out as a race. Imagine this. You got police killing us. You got our oppressor killing us. You got our people wanting to be with the same sex. Whereas we're supposed to be fruitful and multiply and make babies, man. And two men together can't make babies, man. Two women together can't make babies, man. What the Lord said is that. The Lord said that is an abomination, man. We're going to get Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 13, which is the main one. So we're going to get the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and 13. So now, if this is you, man, you better repent. You better change your life and repent, man.
Leviticus 20 and 13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman,
So if a man has sex with a man, as disgusting as it is, if a man sleeps with a man, go ahead.
as he lieth with a woman,
As a lieth with a woman, why? Because men and women are supposed to have sex. So the Lord's saying, if a man lies down with a man, how is he supposed to lie with a woman? Read up.
both of them have committed an abomination.
Both of them have what?
Have committed an abomination.
It says both of them have committed an abomination, which is a disgusting act. So in 2021, they make it seem great. And yeah, we got the gay village over there, and we got the gay clubs and all these things. They make it seem great, not realizing that you're committing abominations against the Lord, man. You're going against the Lord, and then you're lying on the Lord, saying, "Oh, the Lord, sees everything, and the Lord's all love," whereas they're lying to you, man. Read on.
They shall surely be put to death.
It says they shall surely be put to death. And once upon a time, England used to put people to death for those acts. They passed this law in the reign during the reign of Henry VIII, man. They passed it was called the Buggery Act during the reign of Henry VIII. And if you got caught, you would be put to death. And they didn't really need much witnesses. All they would do is have two letters. If you wrote a letter to a man and it professed love, that was enough for them to put you to death, man. That's what they used to do. They passed this law in the reign of Henry VIII. Then after that, they changed it that you would get 10 years in prison and so forth. Then people were getting in prison free. At one stage, they had over 1,000 people in prison, man, because all of them were gay. So they had over 1,000 people in prison. And then there was a man who committed suicide before he went to trial. And then he committed suicide. And then after that, they kind of relaxed the laws on it. And they go, oh, this man was treated inhumane. You killed him because he was in love with another man and it was wrong and so forth. And then over time, they started to ease upon it. And then they eased upon it so much now that two men can get married now. Two women can get married. Now they have Pride Month. Now they have all these things. And the word homo originally is Greek and it means same. So when people say homosexual, originally homo means same. Sexual meaning the same sex is having sexual relations. That's what it meant back then. So that's what the word homo means. And then obviously the word lesbian or lesbo comes from the Greek island because it was called Lesbos Island. There was a woman there which was a poet and she was famous for writing a poem of professing her love to younger females. And then from there they coined the term lesbos because obviously she was writing to other women. So that's where the term lesbian and lesbos comes from. So most of these words is Greek words because obviously the Greeks was heavily into it. So that's where those words come from. I beg you just once. Let me just pull up this thing. I beg you to screen share. All right, I'm gonna share another article. Let me just share screen. Yeah. So now it says BBC left stunned after secret survey reveals 417 of its staff are transgender. So listen, man, you could be working with tons of people who are transgender and you won't even know it. Some of these surgeons do a job where you wouldn't even know it, man. So we're going to read on. It says the BBC has been left stunned after a confidential internal survey revealed that it employs more than 400 transgender staff, 4 times higher than the proportion in population at large. So There's a reason why I've shared this article with you, because they actually, let's read on actually before I get to my point. If it's even in this article, it says the 417 employees, which represent more than 1 in 50 of its total workforce, was described by the executive behind the research as very, very high. Following the findings, the BBC's Director of Diversity, Tunde Agongbisan, has launched a major reform to make the corporation more trans friendly. So now they want to make their businesses more trans friendly. And the reason I'm pulling this article is because why? They would rather make their business more trans friendly, but not black people friendly, man. Whereas they could make it black people friendly, meaning you would get employed at a higher rate, but they're not employing you, man. Meaning there's more trans people working for BBC than there is black people who work for BBC. Why? Because they don't employ black people, but they will hire trans people because they say that trans people is oppressed and treated bad, like we ain't treated bad. So let's read on. It says, following the findings, the BBC Director of Diversity has launched a major reform to make the corporation more trans friendly. He also revealed that 11% of BBC employees were lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, LGBT, but said he still did not consider the corporation to be diverse enough. So imagine that. They've got all these people, transgender people, and they said the company is not diverse enough. Meanwhile, when you go to most most workplaces, most of the people ain't black, man. They don't hire black people. I mean, you would think they would want to make the workplace diverse, meaning there's different races in there. But when it comes to your race, they don't want your race in there, man. They don't want your race in the workplace. They don't want your race in the workplace. But what they do want is transgenders, lesbians, homosexual, because they're saying they want it to be diverse. So it says almost a quarter of its 21,239 staff declined to reveal their orientation, and from the remainder, 2.2% said they were bisexual, 4.8% were gay men, and 1.3% lesbian. And the thing is this, man, the only reason people decline to reveal their sexual orientation is because they know what they're doing is wrong, man. Now, if a man loves women, you ain't going to decline to give your orientation, man. You're going to say, hell yeah, of course I love women. But when you know what you're doing is wrong, you decline to give your orientation. Let's see if there's any more on that. It says, according to official UK figures in 2016, 2% of people said they were lesbian, gay, or bisexual. The BBC's Director of Diversity revealed the findings at a Westminster Social Policy Forum attended by senior civil servants, doctors, and transgender rights campaigners last month. He told them, can someone have a guess at how many people have disclosed they are transgender at the BBC? 10. Someone said anyone else. Someone said 20. Not bad. One more. I will put you out of your misery. We've got 417. 417 transgender people work at the BBC, man. So now, this leads me to my next article that I'm going to bring up. Give me 1 second. Let me see if there's any more on this. It says, if you have a figure like that, you have to think how you make the BBC inclusive because people have trusted you. Hold on, we'll see the BBC. So it says, he added, if we can create a culture where everyone feels they can bring their best work into the organization, and with that, you can begin to change from within the thought processes and the ways people behave and the way they broadcast their programs, then we would have achieved what we are trying to do. And this is why at your slavery, you have to be very careful how you say certain things because some people there could be transgenders and you don't even know it, man. Some people there could be really meant to be born a woman but got a beard and changed into a man. And then you go and make a comment like, oh yeah, these call them whatever you call them. And then they report you, man. And you'll be out of a job because they always get their way, man. They always get their way. They're so used to getting their way that these men thought they was going to rape the angels of Lot, man. These men thought they was going to rape the angels that came to see Lot. Why? Because they're used to always getting their way. Like they act like they're so oppressed, act like they're being bullied. But meanwhile, they're dangerous, man. They're the ones harming everybody. So the BBC has 417 transgenders working for it, man. Which means Phil Mitchell could be a transgender, man. Who knows? Phil Mitchell, Grant Mitchell, Peggy Mitchell, who knows, man? You wouldn't even know. So most of them is, hold on, let me drop this. Let me stop sharing. Let me get the next one. All right, now this is still on there. Oh, I got screen. I got to share my screen again. All right, now this is the next one. This is one about. All right, this now they had all them transgenders working. So now let's look at if black people get these kind of get these kind of numbers in jobs because they said it's not diverse enough. Meanwhile, there's 417 people that work there, transgenders, man. They said it's not diverse enough. I mean, how much do they want working there? So now this says black employees hold just 1.5% of senior roles. So transgenders have what? A better life than you do, man. They have more options than you do. Meanwhile, you're worrying about them. No one worries about you, man. Imagine the BBC said it's not diverse enough. If you want it diverse, give more black people jobs, man. That's how they should make it diverse. But they don't want to make it diverse that way. They want to make it diverse, meaning a man changed into a woman. It says proportion of black individuals in the top jobs in UK business has increased by 0.1%. That's nothing, man. 0.1%. Let's scroll down a bit. It says black employees hold just 1.5% of top management roles in the UK. And this is why we always say in England's racist, man. Because in England, there's only so far you can go. In England, there's only so far you can go, man. There's a ceiling capped on how far you can go in their companies, man. This is why we shouldn't get complacent in this place. Because this place ain't our rest. In this place, we ain't gonna be running some top business how we're supposed to, man. What happens is what? We can only go so far. Put it this way, if you've worked at a job and they're looking for someone as to come in as manager and they bring someone from outside and don't offer you the position, you ain't never gonna get that manager's position, man. Because that's how it usually happens. You be working there for years, thinking, well, when am I getting a promotion? And they just bring someone from outside and give the position to them. Why? Because they don't want to give black people jobs, man. This is why only 1.5% of black people are in top management roles. Let's read on. According to the report, there has been even less progress on black representation in the public sector, where the number of black employees in leadership roles remained static at 1% over the same period. So 1% of black people are in public sector roles, man. There was even a study they done where they said for a black man to be prime minister was 1 in 10 million, whereas they said for one of our oppressors to be prime minister, it was 1 in 10,000, which means a black man has zero chance of being prime minister, man. They said you have to go to Oxford University, you have to go to private school, whereas our parents ain't got that kind of money to send us to private school. If you've got a black sounding name, it was stated that Oxford University, when they're deciding who gets into their uni, they look at the names. If you got a black sounding name, they're more than likely to turn you away. So this is why we held back, because obviously the people in charge, when the Bible talks about wickedness in high places, that's what it's talking about, man. Men up there who could give you these positions don't want to give you, man. You're thinking, oh, my CV wasn't good. It's not that, man. It's because there's spiritual wickedness in high places. Go ahead.
And what's funny, even online, they say that if you pay like £6, someone can review your CV and tell you, what you need to do, and that's got nothing to do.
Right. So imagine, man, that's true as well. Or you go to the place and they review your CV, and meanwhile, your CV has nothing to do with it. It's just that you've got a black sounding name. Or you go to interviews and you think, oh, maybe I ain't got good interview skills. It's because of your color, man. It's because of your race. It's nothing to do with your skills, man. So don't beat yourself up, man. The only way we get jobs in this place is because of the Lord, man. If it wasn't for the Lord, we wouldn't be getting nothing. Let's read on. Says it found that 1% of the police force across England and Wales identified as black, African, or black Caribbean. Says none of the 39 appeal court judges in England and Wales were black. So imagine, this is why most black men's appeals don't get heard, man. This is why most black men's appeals get denied. Why? Because here it says none of the 39 appeal court judges in England and Wales was black. None of them was black men. So you thinking you're going to get off these cases is very unlikely unless the Lord's with you, man. Because none of these appeal court judges is black. Let's read on if there's more. It says this is more crucial than ever when this evidence shows that BAME people continue to be disproportionately affected by COVID-19. She said black livelihood matters. Anyway, for time's sake. And you know that something's not right. This is why you set up the BAME meetings and so forth. The black, what is it? The black and minority ethnics. Black and minority ethnics. You set up those things. The reason you set up those things is why? Because you know that there's racism, man. You know you should be a manager and something's holding you back. And it's not your skills that's holding you back. It's the spiritual wickedness in high places, man. Meaning they decide how far you're going to go up the ladder. They decide how far you're going to go. This is why we need to serve the Lord. Why? Because this place ain't our rest. This place ain't for us to sit down and get comfortable and complacent, man. This place ain't for that. One sec, let me just drop out the StreamYard. All right, we're going to go back into the topic. Where was I? So, like, if I could, I just got to get one more article. This article was damn. I got to get one more article. Then again, I got tons of articles, but am I in there? I'm in there. All right, let me go back to. So this is another article. This article says, man jailed for brutal attack on transgender woman after she performed sex acts on him. So listen, man, there's so much transgenders, and most of the time you wouldn't even know, man. And this should be a lesson. Stop trying to have sex with everything, man. Stop trying to have sex with everything, because something you might think is a woman probably isn't a woman, man. This is why you stop trying to have sex with everything you meet in the club, because you're going to be damned if you find that it's a man. You're going to be scarred for life, man. You're going to be scarred for life. Now, let's read up this. It says, furious drink-fueled Sehul Sood flew into a rage after discovering the woman he had a sexual encounter with had male genitals. And of course he's going to fly into a rage. He thinks it's a woman and is finding out it's a man. Of course he's going to fly into a rage. Now, let's read the article. It says, a booze-fueled man launched into a violent attack when he discovered he had been involved in a sexual encounter with a transgender woman. And listen, this is the thing. They don't even need to tell you that they're transgender, man. They don't need to tell you. They don't need to tell you that they're a man, but they've changed into a woman. They don't need to tell you they was born a man, but now they're a woman. Let this be a lesson, man. Stop trying to have sex with everything, man. Because you could be having sex with a man and you think it's a woman and it's a man, man. Because now they don't need to tell you. Imagine that. They don't even need to tell you. And this is the thing. They bully everyone and force everyone. Really, they should be done for some sort of rape or something, man. They should be done for some sort of rape. How is she going to perform a sex act on the man and not tell him she's a man or she's got male genitals? And then when people lose their mind with these transgenders, guess who's the bad guy? The guy that is upset about it. Imagine if you're a straight man. You're a straight man that don't want to be in those kind of relations, man. So if you do find that it's a man, obviously this man's lost his mind because he's straight and he's found that it's a man and he attacked the transgender man. And I'm sure he's in jail for it, but we're going to read on. It says a booze-fueled man launched into a violent attack when he discovered he had been involved in a sexual encounter with a transgender woman. Sorrel sued who had also taken cocaine repeatedly, and that let that be a lesson. Don't take drugs, man. You take drugs, your vision's clouded, man. You could be with a whole man thinking it's a woman because you're high off them drugs. Says Sorrel sued who had also taken cocaine repeatedly, punched the victim, slammed their head onto a washing machine, and made her clean up her own blood after discovering she had male genitals. Sued 34 was jailed for 16 months when he appeared at Reading Crown Court. The court heard the victim had gone to a party with her married boyfriend before ending up in a room alone with Sued, according to the Manchester Evening News. She performed a sex act on Sued, who then switched on the light and shouted, "You are a man," before attacking her and calling her a dog. This assault arose entirely from Mr. Sued discovering that she was transgender and thereafter assaulting her. Oliver Weech prosecuting said Sued was cleared of sexual assault but sent to prison after he admitted assault causing bodily harm. The thing is this, how could they try and charge this man with sexual assault when he's the one who's been sexually assaulted, man?
That's right.
This person told him she's a woman and it turned out to be a man. That should be sexual assault, man. That they lied, man. They told this man they're a woman and they're a man. And imagine this she didn't get charged with nothing, man. Let's see if there's more on that. It says defending Tom Holmes asked the judge not to sentence Sued on the basis he targeted the victim based on prejudice. Mr. Holmes said his behavior on that night was, of course, despicable. It gives an impression of him as a reckless, aggressive, and frankly unlikable human being. Emma Nutt said Sued had been at a party with others when the victim turned up with her partner who left early. The judge added you were even happy to entertain his girlfriend. Saying the calling his girlfriend when it's a man, it's confusing. I'm reading it and I'm trying to work out who's the girlfriend, who's the... This is the thing, man. The world's become confusing. Why? Because there's all these different things going on, men turning into women, women turning into men. Said she went on and then things took a very ugly turn. You were perhaps fueled by whiskey and cocaine and flew into a rage from that moment. You had no concern at all for the woman. You were concerned only by your own feelings. Of course, he should be concerned by his own feelings, man. Says what you were concerned about was your reputation for fear of being a laughing stock. You sought to blame her. You threw words around like deceit. You accused her of raping you. And she did rape him, man. I would say she did. Because she's a man that lied and said she's a woman, man. Made him believe it was a woman. That sounds like... And that is deceit, man. But this man's in jail. What? That is deceit. It says there's no culpability on your part. She's a woman. That is how she had. See? They're saying, see? So now, this is how it goes. If she identifies as a woman, they say that she's a woman. So you could think this woman you're dealing with is a woman when really it could be a man that identifies as a woman. And then when you find out, you then go to jail for losing your cool. Of course you're going to lose your cool, man. Why? Because you was under the pretense that it was a woman. These times it's a full-blown man. Listen, stop trying to have sex with everything, man. Because listen, they're going to tell you they're a woman when they're not. Let's see if there's any more on that. Says you hit her multiple times to the face, head and ear. Both eyes were black. Her left eye was completely bloodshot. She had one continuous huge bruise from the thigh to the knee. And all of those were caused by you. So imagine that. They ain't said nothing about her lying to him. Yeah, that's it on that one. You can drop me out the stream, man. So they ain't said nothing about her lying to him. And this is Esau's agenda, man. So now this man is in jail. Let's go back into... Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 21. So now we're going to go back into the Bible, man.
1 Corinthians 10 and 21. Ye cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and the cup of devil.
Meaning what? You can't be on the fence, man. You can't drink from the cup of the Lord and of the cup of devils. You can't say, you know what? I don't mind transgenders because, you know, God loves everybody. You can't drink from the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils, man. Only devils say that, man. If you're riding with the Lord, you have to be against all these things, man. even if it's gonna offend people. Even if it's gonna offend people, you have to be against those things. You can't be saying I'm straight, but I go to gay pride marches. You can't say that, man. You can't drink of the cup of the Lord and devils, man. You can't do that. You shouldn't be going nowhere near them pride marches. You know why? Because you're the reason why they're thriving. You're the reason why they're making so much money. You're the reason why they're doing so good. Why? Because you're supporting them, man. The reason they've got so much money is why? It's because you support them. Now they've took the rainbow, man, and made it their own. You can't drink from the cup of the Lord and devils, man. You can't sit on the fence. You can't be on the fence. Either you're gonna ride with the Lord or you're not, man. You can't you can't be a sister talking about, yeah, I love the truth, but then your best friend's a gay male. You can't do that, man. You have to pick a side. Either you're gonna ride with the Lord or you're gonna sit down with the devils, man. These deceivers that lie and so forth, tell you, oh yeah, it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that. I'm gonna show you what the Lord said about you going to the pride marches. Exodus chapter 23 and verse 2. So now we're gonna is anyone that
Yeah.
oh yeah, go ahead, give them one. And listen, man, them things is disgusting, man. This is why we need to make sure we hold on to what we have. Because if we don't hold on to what we have, if the I.S.U.P.K didn't exist in the UK, everywhere would be like Sodom and Gomorrah, man. Outside of these doors, it's like that. Outside of these doors, it's like that, man. All your musicians painting their nails, all your men becoming soft and weak. The I.S.U.P.K is the only place where there's still strength, man. Is where there's still masculinity, man. Is where men are men and where women are women. Outside of these doors, there's none of that, man. Outside of these doors, two men can be together and it's considered fine. Outside of these doors, two women can be together and it's considered fine. Whereas in here, man, we're gonna set you straight. That can't happen, man. Them things go against the Lord. It can't happen. Go ahead.
Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
You can't be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils, man. You have to pick a side. With everything in life, there's two sides, man, and you have to pick one. If you're gonna ride with the Lord or not. Exodus chapter 23 and verse 2. And after that, we're gonna go into one more article.
Exodus 23 and 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil.
And you following a multitude of people going to gay pride is you doing evil, man. You know why? Because you go there, you support the bar, you buy drinks. So you're the reason why their movement can keep on going, man. Maybe if everybody that claims the straight but they go there to have fun stop going there, guess what would happen? They wouldn't have pride annually, man. Why? Because no one would attend. But by you attending, you're the reason it keeps going on, man. By you going, if every person decided, okay, this is wrong, I'm not gonna go, guess what would happen? On that day, all the promoters would lose money, man. So they would cancel it. But because you go and you're buying drinks and you're buying food, you're supporting it, man. You're following a multitude to do evil. You're the person that's keeping it going, man. And you shouldn't go, man. You know why? Because who knows? One day the Lord might just, send meteorites like he did in the book of Genesis, man. Like it did to them 5 cities, man. The Lord might do that to 5 cities where pride is taking place, man. The Lord might do that, man. Who knows? How do you save yourself? By not being there, man. The Bible says a wise man hides himself from evil, man. Meaning you won't be found where evil is taking place. You shouldn't be found where these things is taking place. And they like to coerce people and bully people into doing it. At work, they might say, oh, it's Pride Month, so you have to wear this pride badge. You tell them, no, man. It goes against my religious beliefs. Now, you don't need to start effing and blinding and cursing everybody out because you will lose your job. You just tell them, no, it goes against my beliefs, and they can't force you to do it, man. Because then you will go to your union and say they discriminated against me. They're trying to force me to do something that I don't agree with. And you have the right to disagree with things, but there's a way you have to disagree with it. So certain things like this in the workplace, they're sensitive. So straight away, you say to a gay man, yo, that lifestyle's wrong. What? You're homophobic? He said my lifestyle's wrong. The manager would take you in the office and you probably get the sack. Meanwhile, people can be racist to black people on the job all day, man. Meanwhile, they said there's less than 2% of black people in high job roles, man. Which lets you know, us as black people, we at the bottom of society. Even jobs that we're good at, we can't even make it to the top. Why? Because this man who's in a high place puts a ceiling on how far we can go. And with the LGBT community, he lets them go as far as they can go, man. He lets them take over the whole earth. Talking bad about the LGBT community is almost as bad as talking about people who's it's as bad as anti-Semitism. Almost the same thing, man. You diss a Jewish man, oh you're anti-Semitic. You diss a gay man, oh you're homophobic. Meanwhile, everybody can just diss black people, man. So what is it? So everyone can just diss black people, man. And there's no term for it yet, man. You would have thought after all these hundreds of years would have came up with a term like, yo, you can't say that about black people. You can't diss black people because, you know, they're oppressed and they've been through so much and they've been fighting for their freedom for so long, and we just oppress them and we put a roof on how far they can get, and we kill their children and we throw their children in jail and we break up their families and we cram them in ghettos and we turn them against each other and we take their fathers away so they grow up with no fathers. Surely they should have a term. Like a man with a heart would say, surely give these black people a break. Surely a man would say, let's come up with a term called anti-black. But they've came up with one called Asian hate. But for us, there's nothing, man. I'm going to get another article real quick. So now we're going to, one second, just edit into the... am I in there? It says stop sharing. Oh, I'm in there. So now, this is a thing called pink money. You see, like how when it's Black Pound Day, where people say they're only spending with black people. This is a thing called pink money. This is what the LGBT community call it, pink money. So we're going to read about pink money. It says pink money describes the purchasing power of the LGBT community. And listen, the pink money, the LGBT community, they got so much money, man. They're loaded. So we're going to see how loaded they are. It says often, especially with respect to political donations, with the rise of the gay rights movement, pink money has gone from being a fringe or marginalized market to a thriving industry in many parts of the Western world, such as the United States and United Kingdom. Many businesses now specifically cater to gay customers, including nightclubs, shops, restaurants, and even taxi cabs. The demand for these services stems from common discrimination by traditional businesses. So now, the LGBT community said, you know what? These other businesses discriminate against us, so let's set up our own stuff. Imagine men who are gay and women who are gay, the LGBT community, imagine their whole life is messed up and wrong, but they've got the common sense to separate, man. Even they had the common sense to separate. They said, because they're being discriminated by normal businesses, guess what they did? All came together and they've set up their own businesses. So now you have what? Now you have what? They have, let's read that part again. It says they have nightclubs. So now there's a gay village in Birmingham, man. They have shops, restaurants, taxi cabs. Says the demand for these services stems from common discrimination by traditional businesses. So what happened is these gay people did what? Set up their own cities, man. Their own clubs. They all came together and set up their own clubs. Imagine these is lawless people who live an abominable lifestyle, and they broke off from everybody else because of discrimination. You mean to say us who's black and a righteous nation, we can't separate and set up our own businesses? How are we making the LGBT community understand that they need to separate and set up their own businesses, man. And us, a righteous nation, we ain't worked out that we need to separate and set up our own businesses. So now they have their nightclubs. So now in town, they got a gay village. They got them in major cities now. You take the wrong turn, good night. You see men dressed up as women, women dressed up as men. You better just drive through the red lights. So luck, you don't even stop, man. Probably be just shaking your car and all of that, man. Because the violent, man. It says so. Gay customers, including nightclubs, shops, restaurants, and even taxi cabs. The demand for these services stems from common discrimination by traditional businesses. Let's read on. In 2019, LGBT adults globally held a combined buying power of approximately 3.7 trillion, man. Imagine the gay community had a buying power of 3.7 trillion. You know why? Because everybody's supporting them, man. All them donations. Even the other day, on Tupac's estate, the man running Tupac's estate said, we're going to donate this money to the LGBT community. That's where most of your donation goes, to the LGBT community, man. Every time you buy certain things, they donate to who? The LGBT community. And this is why the LGBT community has approximately 3.7 trillion, man. 3.7 trillion off of being, what's the politically correct term? Gay. Off of being gay. There's other words I want to say, but it's not politically correct, so I can't say them because they'll probably shut down the channel. So off of them being gay, they've raised 3.7 trillion, man. Off of living an abominable lifestyle. Off of living a lifestyle that's wrong, man. Let's read on. It says the economic power of pink money. So because the gay is called pink money, so they call it pink money, whereas when we come together, we call it Black Pound Day. And the sad thing is, most black people don't even support Black Pound Day, man. They don't support Black Pound Day, but the LGBT gets supported. They get donations so much that they got 3.7 trillion. You got million, billion, then trillion. They got 3.7 trillion, man. Let's read on. The economic power of pink money has been seen as a positive force for the gay community, creating a kind of financial self-identification which helps gay and lesbian individuals feel like part of a community which values them. Imagine that, man. They've got their own community. So now, in town, they got their own bars, their own restaurants. And despite that, they've got their own and they still want to walk through yours, man. They got their own and they still want to come to your town and tell you what to do. Now, if that's what they want to do, they should keep it in their town, in their restaurants. But they still want to come and coerce you into following them. They want to coerce you into doing the nonsense that they do. Let's read on. It says the economic power of pink money has been seen as a positive force for the gay community, creating a kind of financial self-identification which helps gay and lesbian individuals feel like part of a community which values them. Indeed, upwards of 90% of gay people support businesses which target pink money. Imagine that. 90% of gay people spend their money with the gay community. They spend their money with people who's like them. Listen, man, we need to separate from everybody and spend our money with people that's like us, man. Maybe we can have 3.7 trillion in the black community, man, while being righteous, man. Imagine these unrighteous people can spend money together and amass 3.7 trillion. How about we be righteous and we serve the Lord and we support one another? We spend our money in our community. We can have way more than that because the Lord's with us, man. Let's read on. Which targets pink money while actively boycotting anti-gay companies. So they boycott anti-gay companies. So now, this is why most companies come out with, we don't discriminate. You know why? Because they want some of that pink money, man. They want some of that 3.7 trillion. Now, if you come out and say, yo, we ain't dealing with that gay stuff, you then get boycotted. You then get blackballed like them Caribbean artists, man. You then get blackballed like Capleton and Sizzler and them who can't perform in the UK. Why? Because they've got spending power. The LGBT community has economic power, and they refuse to pay for your records or anything until you apologize, until you be like Little Nas X. And now this is why Little Nas X is making so much money. Why? Because this is his community supporting him, man. Whereas a real man who don't care about the money would stand up and say, you know what? I'd rather not sell one record, but I'd rather serve God than change my stance on how I feel about the LGBT stuff. So they boycott anti-gay companies. So this is why certain rappers that you like who ain't gay, they won't never make it. Why? Because the gay people have all the money and they decide what gets played on the air, man. They decide what goes in concert, what's trending. This is why most rappers, this is why P. Diddy came out the other day and said Lil Nas X was fearless, meaning P. Diddy stands with Lil Nas X, man. P. Diddy saying that why? Because he wants the gay community to spend some of their money on his records, man. He don't want to say I'd rather be broke and righteous than be rich and a sinner, man. Than be rich, accustoming abominations and so forth. So let's read on. It says anti-gay companies, however, criticism has been leveled at businesses which target pink money from gay groups, arguing that this segregates the gay and lesbian community from society and holds back gay rights. So these gay people want to keep their money in the gay community. That's what they want to do, man. So if they're allowed to keep their money in the gay community, why can't we keep our money in the black community, man? Why is it a problem when we say we want to set up black businesses? Why is it a problem when we say we want all our workers to be black? Why is it a problem when we say we want black schools and everything and black universities? Why is it a problem when we want those things? And why ain't it a problem when the LGBT want to be separate, man? When they want to keep themselves separate? Why can't we keep ourselves separate? This is the thing. This world wants to take all our money, man. They want to take all our money, man. They want black people to spend their money with everybody. Meanwhile, everybody doesn't spend their money with black people, man. And that's how it goes. Let's read on. It's been considered more often than not a market exclusive for the US, UK, and some places in Europe, but its extension covers a large amount of Latin America and parts of Asia, making its actual earnings larger by years and giving marketing options. Give me one last precept before we go. Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 9. So we're going to get one last precept before we go, man. Imagine all that money they have, man. They keep it in their community, man. Set up their restaurants and their bars. They've got a gay village, man. And the government don't mind. They allow them to have it, but they wouldn't allow black people to have nothing, man. Let us have a black village, man, where we spend black money, where we have black restaurants, man, where we have black taxi drivers that pick up black people, man, at discounted prices, man. Let us have black restaurants, black movie theaters, so we can have a taste of the kingdom, man, until we get it, man. We're going to read Isaiah 1 and 9 before we go.
Isaiah 1 and 9. Except the Lord of hosts has left unto us a very small remnant, we shall have all been as Sir Adam, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
If the Lord didn't leave a small remnant, the I.S.U.P.K, man, we would all be like Sodom and Gomorrah, man. If the Lord didn't leave a small remnant, we would have a million Little Nas X's running around in the UK, man. But the Lord left a small remnant, man, of men that are masculine, of men that are going to stand for Him, of men that would rather go broke before they get any pink money, man. Before they get any pink money or spend any pink money, men in here would rather die of starvation before we touch any pink money, man. Because we ain't a part of the LGBT community. And with that, that brings us to the end of the time. We're up on the time. Be here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Captain Parash will be here, 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Mashallah, powerful fasting. Officer Dunbar and first and foremost. And with that, we're going to give the teacher one courtesy salute. Mele Israel and Madian. Mele Israel and Madian Shabbat. And Madian Barak. Yahweh Ba Shem Yahweh Shai Barak Da.
Yahweh Ba Shem Yahweh Shai Barak Da.
Yadimata.